So I just wanted to make this video because basically I just don't feel like doing anything right now, and it sucks. Like, the computer's on, but I'm not doing anything on it. I'm not gaming right now. I'm not making music, not reading. I'm not, I don't know, working on my label, really doing anything productive. For the last 2 hours, I've pretty much just been talking with people, catching up with friends online, um, just messaging. And it kind of strikes me as, well, it makes me think of an important topic that I regularly want to talk about, and I just don't. Um, I don't even put my face really on social media or on my page much. Um, I don't really make videos of me talking. I don't, yeah, I don't know. I don't say do the things that maybe I should do as a musician, as trying to better my art and get my music out there more. And, it's a lot of effort, like the marketing side of everything and being present, like online and social media. Um, and the reality is, like, it scares me. I have a certain, like, fear, and I think a lot of people do as well, of putting yourself out there, letting yourself be seen, like, for who you really are and whatnot. Um, and really, that leads me to kind of a key point about, what I want to say, which is talking about mental health. And, like, I'm from Australia, here in Australia, and I'm sure it's probably the same in like a lot of the rest of the world. But we have massive mental health crises at the moment. Only seems like things are getting worse with what I'm reading about younger generations. Um, and that part itself is sad because I remember when I was, in school and stuff, I was looking forward to leaving school and being able to, define my own destiny and whatnot. And yeah, the reality is rather bleak now. In the comparison of that, all the things that I thought would be, easy to push through and to fight for and build, like starting your own business, all these things, easy to start, but insanely hard, in, like, to grow. Improbable, basically. Like, sometimes it doesn't even, like, it doesn't even matter. As, Sometimes it doesn't even matter how good your product is going to be for whatever your business might be, because you might not have the finances or capacity to be able to build and put that together. And I know that's a very negative thing to say, but it's kind of like music, where it doesn't matter how good the music is, your marketing and all, your branding, etc., um, kind of matter more these days. And so there's all these weird elements at play with, any business you're trying to build, and more than ever, especially as, you know internet, AI, um, increase and become more popular, like more widespread. As population increases, like, saturation just goes up in everything. Everything becomes more and more saturated, which means that your chances of being able to break through become more and more limited. Um, and if I can touch on it, collective consciousness, I feel, is what's bringing this awareness to more of us. And I genuinely believe this should not stop you from chasing your dreams or doing what you want. don't let that stop you from starting the business that you want or doing the things that you want in life, because you don't necessarily need to replace your job with the business you're building or anything. Um, as long as you're doing what you love, that's what's important. And back to mental health, like, uh, well, I love making music. I've been doing it since I was like 5 years old or something, playing instruments and stuff. And yeah, through my own obstacles in life, my own path, some things chosen, some things not chosen and unwanted. I've developed certain traumas in life. I've developed pains and anguish, um, you know, trust issues, all these things because of experiences. And this happens to all of us, right? Like, this is something we all go through at our own pace, and, you know, we're all our own unique butterflies, or whatever the term is. Um, so, all of our pains and this and that are unique as well. Um, but it's it's weird to say that it almost feels like achieving things and really driving yourself to what you want to do is easier when you're younger, and it gets harder as you get older. I'm 30 now, and I feel more confidence to do anything that I want, but I feel so much less motivation to do the things that I want, um, which baffles me a little bit. And I hear that a lot of people don't really achieve the success that they strive for until they're like in their what like 40s. I'm pretty sure it is. Um, and I'd love to ask those people if they felt similar things, and if it's almost like you just get sick of that lack of motivation, and then that then pushes you to actually you know build through. But I don't know. I'm struggling right now at the moment anyway. I've experienced anxiety and depression since I was like year six, year seven. So like I don't know what that would be, but like 11, 12 years old. I remember coming home to my dad crying because I could see how coming into high school, right, all these cliques started like being or coming together. Um, and I was losing my friends because my friend group from my primary school kind of like diverted, and then there were all these like yeah different groups being created within high school, and that made me depressed. And I was so anxious about communicating with these different groups and my friends and losing friends, and um, even though I wasn't losing them, but it was just a weird thing to experience. And that was my first true experience with depression. Going on quite a few years later, my dad moves overseas to America. I had to move state here in Australia to my mum, who was in a failing relationship. She kicked me out of home at 16, 2 weeks after my 16th birthday. Um, she just had a child, my younger brother, um, a week beforehand. So things were a stressful time for her, no doubt. Um, and she did invite me to come home, 5 days later. And I, was not a troublesome kid, but I wagged school a bit, was smoking weed. Um, I just didn't really fit in at school. I got good grades. I was academic in a sense, but um, yeah, I just didn't really fit in. Um, and I saw that as my opportunity to leave home. But that led to so much crap. Like terrible traumatic relationships, being cheated on, domestic violence situations, um, yeah, all sorts of abuse in that kind of category of things, right? Um, I I experienced more ageism. I remember trying to find houses, and even though there's no laws to say I couldn't rent a property, um, yeah, I just wouldn't get a property, wouldn't be able to find myself a rental, and I needed social workers and support workers, um, to provide that assistance, even to give me food cards just so I could get groceries. And it was a hard many years. Like that was all going through, 16, 17, 18, um, 19. Didn't start working until pretty much early 20s, 21. Anxiety and depression, PTSD was just through the roof from, yeah, like terrible relationships. Like one, I noted I got cheated on, but a couple of my closest mates, you know, I was, yeah, horrendous. I lost trust in everyone. I disconnected with everyone I knew. Didn't really talk to anyone but like two people for about a year and a half, 2 years. Got myself into working, changed career from like chef to hospitality. Um, Music never stopped either. I've been making music the entire time, on and off. Had two or three, four different aliases, and a lack of self confidence that I'd established through my traumas were a big part of me changing my alias and never gaining full comfortability with myself. Um, and that's with myself, just myself, and with myself as an artist. Even now, 30 years old, this is 14 years, yeah, after, moving out of home, I still experience anxiety and depression. I still have so many days where I struggle. Thankfully, I rarely need to have a mental health day. And that's not a bloat either. That's, you know, 14 plus years of pain and suffering. Thankfully, not every day, um, but yeah, I've been pretty good at pushing on some music stuff of late, getting tracks finished up and put out there, and doing the branding and marketing stuff for my social media. Um, but I was hoping to have an EP dropping like, a few weeks ago, a month ago. Um, and I've spent like next to no time on it in the last maybe 4 to 6 weeks. And it's just, I don't know, just feel a bit lost inside. I know it's the direction I'm going in, and I'm going to continue to make music, and I'm going to get that EP out there eventually. Um, but sometimes, yeah, we we struggle, and I just hope you all know that that's fine. We push through, and it's okay. Um, and yeah, one day I'm not gonna need to take these month breaks, and I'm gonna be able to reflect on even times like this, let alone the worst times, 10, 14 years ago. Um, and, I know not to beat myself up anymore, but don't beat yourself up. The time will come for you to do the things that you need to do when you need to do them. And as long as you keep true to yourself, you'll always find yourself on the path that you're meant to be on, I believe. I only say that because I keep finding myself back on this path of making music. As much as I hit these walls that make me want to stop sometimes. I took a 2 year hiatus in 2020, 2021. Came back in like 2023 and developed my Vasix project and changed from Terraform. And, I've never felt more confident in my music or that this is the path I'm meant to be on. But yeah, just keep up the good work. If you're doing good work, and you are, you know, obviously there's no reason to desire anything from it, from what you do for yourself, you know. I'm hoping that this is something that I can look back on and cheer myself up with and make myself feel a little bit better. But I also hope I can just spread that awareness of it is okay and that you will be okay and that this time will pass. And soon enough, you'll be cheering again, you know, working on that business that you want to work on or making that hit banger that you're just like, fuck, I made that. Or just finishing that book that you never ended up finishing that you always wanted to read that's still in the back of your mind. There's no wrong way. Every way is the right way. It's just each different right way is going to offer you different benefits. Let's say you fuck up with something. How can that be the right way? I just fucked up. I just lost my job. Well, maybe now you open doors for an even better job, you know, or relationship, or, you know, yeah. I think I made my point. I think I'm rambling now. Tschüss.